All right, Miles, let's talk about the Cleveland Browns here for a little bit. This is a team that's had a sneaky good offseason. We covered a lot of the moves. They've made a lot of really smart moves. But there's one move in particular, one new addition, one new Cleveland Brown that seems to be going to be massive for the Browns, not just in the short term, however, but in the long term as well. I think this is really exciting for Cleveland.
Yeah, Nick, I think this move is going to be huge for the Browns, especially when you think offensively. I think this is a move that can really elevate the offense, especially if you call the right plays to accentuate this offense. It could be very dynamic going forward. But, Nick, we're talking about offensive play calling. So let's take a walk down memory lane. Cleveland Browns fans, let us know in the comments below, who is your favorite Browns offensive play caller of all time? I think there's a lot of interesting answers here. So let us know in the comments below who's your favorite Browns offensive play caller of all time. But Nick, come on, let's get on into it. I'm excited to talk about this sneaky good pick that the Browns have made.
Yeah, so every time after the draft for the month of May on this channel, we always like to go through all the draft picks, every single team meet, and find kind of our favorite picks, our hidden gems, our draft steals, if you will. But one of the guys we missed, and it's 100% on us, Mize, is of course third round selection for the Cleveland Browns, Cedric Tillman out of the University of Tennessee, a team in college that we follow all the time. And it looks like the Browns have something special here in this kid. There's been a lot of great reports out of mini camps and OTAs that this guy's on a fast track to being very positive contributor to this team already in 2023. But there's a report out from Dog Pound Daily highlighting some interesting similarities between Tillman and a former all-time great Mize. If you want to throw up the report here, I'll read from it. I think Browns fans will really be excited by this. All right, from Dog Pound Daily, like I said, without a first round or second round pick in this year's NFL draft, the Cleveland Browns selected Cedric Tillman 74th overall with their first pick. The Volunteers draft stock fell due to a high ankle sprain against Akron last season, but Browns GM Andrew Berry couldn't let the opportunity to grab a big-bodied physical playmaker at a discounted price pass him up. Tillman's collegiate numbers may foreshadow a career similar to Hall of Fame hopeful Andre Johnson, of course, with the Houston Texans. A really great player. I love watching him growing up. Johnson and Tillman both stand at 6'3", although Johnson was listed as 16 pounds heavier than Tillman at 229. In 2003, Johnson had a 40-yard dash time of 4.41. 20 years later, Tillman clocked in at 4.57. The post also goes into some detailed statistics between the two guys in college, and there is a lot of similarities, both in terms of their size, their measurables, their productions, and their playing styles. But I just want to focus on what Cedric Tillman could do in terms of value for the Cleveland Browns in the long term, Miles, and I'll throw it over to you to get your opinions on it. Everyone knows that this team is going to have a lot of salary cap issues. Of course, the Watson contract is looming. There's a lot of big name guys, Myles Garrett, of course, that are going to drag down a good chunk of the salary cap. So they're going to have to make some tough decisions about where they're going to allocate capital. And there's one guy that I think is going to be on the chopping block, not this coming season, but in 2024, and that is veteran wide receiver Amari Cooper. According to overthecamp.com, if the Cleveland Browns cut Amari Cooper after this season, before the 2024 season, they will free up about $12.5 million in cap space. That's a lot of cap space. In the meantime, if you got a guy like here in Cedric Tillman, who at 6'3", 200 plus compares to Andre Johnson, but he's also a very similar size, a lot of similar skills to Amari Cooper. If Tillman, and it sounds like he can be at this point, grow into a quality receiver, it will allow Barry and the Cleveland Browns to move off of Amari Cooper, open up $12.5 million of cap space, which they'll desperately need, and not miss a beat in terms of production on the offensive side of the ball. I think Tillman looks like a star already. He's had a really strong mini camp and OTA session. I'm excited to see what he does the rest of his career. But I think if he can grow into somewhat of a capable player, and I think he will, it'll allow the Browns a lot of flexibility in the cap room. And for that, I think the Browns pulled off a potential big-time move here. And Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts on it. But before I get into that, let's hear a word from our partner of today's video, and that is Neuro.
We'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Neuro.
That's right, Mize. And on this show, we love to talk about the smartest teams, players, and coaches in football. We appreciate greatness and special talents on this show, and that's why we love Neuro. The smart folks over at Neuro took the time to create clean, balanced energy that could be taken anywhere, anytime. Neuro developed 3 awesome formulas using thoughtfully curated ingredients to provide a clean burst of energy and focus without, this is the most important part to me, the jitters of coffee or energy drinks.
Yeah, Nick, they have 3 really, really great formulas here. A different flavor for any style that you're looking for. The first is their energy and focus formula, specially formulated with natural caffeine, L-theanine, and B vitamins to sustain mental endurance necessary to maintain focus. But Nick, if that's not what you're looking for, they have their Calm and Clarity formula. It's expertly developed with GABA, vitamin D3, and once again, L-theanine, that one must be very important, so pay attention to that. It helps optimize composure and clarity of mind. And finally, Nick, the last option they have is their health and vitality formula. It is especially infused with life enhancing, immune boosting vitamins to help strengthen and support your body.
That's right, Maya. So everyone, whatever formula you choose, make sure you click on our link in the description below to get up to 30% off. You heard me right, 30% off, 30 off your order, and enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.
Yeah, Nick, I want to touch on what you were talking about Cedric Tillman and what he's going to add to this team, because this is a guy who, coming into the end of 2021, really caught his groove. I'm going to go over a couple stats that he had here that I think were very incredible. The last 5 games or so that he played, 152 receiving yards, 79, 200, 100, 106. A lot of big numbers put up, but this is the kicker here, Nick. Long catches for the game, 70 yards, 37 yards, 53 yards, 43 yards, 46 yards. This guy's putting up dynamic, lot of deep threat plays, a lot of stuff like that. And you go into the beginning of this year, he comes in week 1 versus Ball, 68 yards there. And then week 2 against Pitt, I think that was his biggest game of the season there, 162 yards, getting back to form, another 61-yard catch there. So I think Tillman has a lot of dynamicism. I think he can add a lot to this Browns team. Like you said, I think, for getting this guy in the 3rd round, it feels like a pretty good pickup for Cleveland. It can really add to the depth that they have at receiver. And I think exactly what you're talking about is right. As far as Amari Cooper's getting up there, he's going to cost a lot of money. This guy can maybe fill in nicely beside guys like Donovan Peoples-Jones, Elijah Moore, can really add a lot of great receiving talent to this team. You have 4 very, very quality receivers on this Browns wide receiver group now. But I think that a pick like this can really accentuate the offense and kind of just give the Browns over the edge, because this is a team, like we said, last year, not their best year because they were working back. No one expected Deshaun Watson to come in and automatically be a superstar. I mean, he was coming in week 11. There wasn't really much of an expectation. But now, after a full offseason and everything, the expectation is there. We know who he used to be. He was a superstar player in the NFL, Pro Bowler, everything in the off the field stuff aside. This guy was an excellent football player. Now he has top tier, probably some of the best receiving group he's ever had in his entire career around him. And I think this team is going to show up on Sundays, and I think they're going to surprise a ton of people.